So you may be wondering, Joe, where have you been? You haven't been making any videos. That's true, because last week I had a week-long jury trial. And not only did that take up the time for my entire week last week, but also the week before and the week before that. So I've just been blown out of the water busy. And today I want to talk about what I'm calling the jury trial hangover. So I've participated in a couple of jury trials in the past where I did a couple of witnesses, or I prepped, or I worked on the case. Last week was one of the first ones where I did a full 4-day jury trial. I had co-counsel. We put a ton of work into this. And I can tell you, this week I had a hangover, okay? The trial started last Tuesday. And no, I didn't even drink any alcohol. The trial started last Tuesday, went until Friday at 6 o'clock. All right. And it took me until Monday to get my energy back and feel like a human being again, more like Tuesday. So I'm going to try to get back into making videos again. Thank you for tuning in. Joe Pometto, Joe the lawyer. I talk about legal news, legal issues, and the practice of law generally. Today, we're going to talk about the jury, what I'm calling the jury trial hangover. So you may ask, those of you who are attorneys and have done jury trials, you probably know what I'm talking about. Those of you who aren't, I don't know if you're interested in this topic. If you are, stick around. Why, Joe? Why do you have a hangover? Well, let's talk about it. One thing about doing a jury trial is there is a mixture of incredible highs and lows. Incredible highs and lows. So especially in criminal defense, because the people that you're representing are usually up against insurmountable, I don't want to say insurmountable odds. That's not what I'm trying to say. What they're facing is huge penalties, okay? If you lose a jury trial, this person literally can lose years of their life. I mean, imagine having to put on a performance, which is what the attorney does, and if you lose, that person, your client, is losing years of their life in prison, years of their life in jail. So some trials you do, and the stakes maybe aren't that high. It's still high. They might go to jail for 3 months, 6 months, a year. Some trials you do, the person can get 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, a life sentence. This case last week was not a life sentence case, but my client was facing a whole lot of time in prison, okay? So jury trials have these incredible highs and lows. What do I mean by that? Well, when you win an objection, it's like a rush, okay? Or when you nail a point with a witness, it's like a rush, because it's like a victory, okay, in the gladiators ring, and it's in public, right? When you win a point, or you win an objection, or you make a really great point with a witness, all right, the jury over there, they don't know everything, but they're going to see that you were victorious. Your client's going to see it, and the judge is going to see it. When you lose, same thing. So when you win on these, you get these big highs, all right? I did an opening statement I was very proud of. I thought it really connected with the jury. So afterwards, I felt a big high. But later on in the trial, there were some things that took place where it brought me down to these incredible lows. So throughout the life of the trial, your emotions are going to be so these incredible highs and lows, they can drain your energy. Number 2, adrenaline, okay? And that's the other thing. And anybody who is who played competitive sports, or any sort of job, tons of jobs out there like this, where you have to perform, or everything goes on the line in like one session, right? A jury trial is like, it's like the Super Bowl for your client, okay? They've had this whole long case. There's been motions, there's been discovery, interviews, depositions, all right? in a year, and then boom, and then you have the trial, and that's where everything, all the work you did, everything that happened before, it all goes on the line at that trial. Okay, yeah, you can appeal, but appeals are tough. Appeals are tough. So you got to win at the trial. So it's just like the Super Bowl. It's like when a football team every week they're getting ready to play. They got one chance. They got 4 quarters to get in there, score enough points, stop the other team, and win the game. Same thing with the jury trial. 4 days to get in there and win. So what happens is the first day you're gonna you're gonna get pounded with adrenaline, and then you're just going to run on adrenaline all the way through, So you got these highs and lows, and then you're running on adrenaline. Well, the third thing is when you're experiencing emotional highs and lows, running on adrenaline, you are not going to get good sleep. It was funny, after last week, I was like, I slept like 6 to 7 hours each night, okay? But it was not good sleep. It was not deep sleep. My mind was running, all right? I don't think I've got that REM sleep that you need. I would wake up and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I was talking to my mom, I think I was like, I slept 6 hours every night, but it wasn't good sleep. And so Friday night, I slept like 11 hours, all right? I never do that, all right? Maybe if I work out like really, really hard one day, that day I might, or if I work out like 3-4 days in a row, I might sleep like 8 or 9. I usually sleep like 7 hours. So for me to sleep 10 or 11 hours on Friday was just crazy. The same Saturday too, not as many hours. And then by Sunday, and as the week went on, I got back on to my schedule. So that's what I call the jury trial hangover. One thing I gotta say, all you lawyers out there doing trials like this, you gotta eat, and you still gotta try to get that sleep, because even though those 6 hours, and there were times I didn't want to eat, okay, because you're running on this adrenaline, it suppresses your appetite. So I forced myself to eat. The funny thing was, I wasn't hungry. This is hilarious. I wasn't hungry, so I was able to eat healthier, and that helped me. So like when you're really hungry, that's when you want like a burger, right? But if you're not that hungry, it's not that big a deal to just eat some fruits and vegetables. I know I sound terrible. So I actually ate a little healthier, not the whole time, but I found that because I wasn't hungry and I wasn't paying attention to my food, I was able to eat healthier, and I didn't really care. Very funny. So taking all of that into account, the biggest thing was, and I thought I did a good job of this, and this is my advice to young attorneys out there, anybody getting to practice law. There's a lot of attorneys out there been practicing longer than me, okay, is you got to keep your cool. So you're going to have these highs and lows. You're going to be running on adrenaline. You're going to be exhausted. When you're in there at the trial table, okay, boom, straight face the whole time. Keep your cool, because you can see the jurors looking at you, okay? You may not even be involved in what's going on in the trial, but the jury may not be either. And they may be looking over at you. They were looking over at the defendant's table. They want to see your actions, your facial expressions, etc. One weird thing about this trial is this is the age of COVID. So jury selection took 7 hours. We had to choose the jurors. It took 7 hours because the judge, when we would normally walk up to where the judge sits and do some questions in private, we had to go into a private room. So that first day I got a workout. It was up and down, up and down, up and down. The whole day going in and out to ask these jurors questions. It took 7 hours. This was in a county outside of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is doing jury selection in a convention center in a giant hall so that people don't have to be close during the whole thing. Because normally in Pittsburgh, they pack everyone into this little tiny room. I don't know how long this is going to go on. Another thing about this trial, we had a lot of objections. So I would just say, you might have heard this before, trial attorneys, try to get a lot of those objections out in pretrial motions. I thought that I probably could have done that on a few issues, and instead I had to bring up those objections during the trial. So be it, not a huge deal, but you don't want to knock the jury's attention out or be viewed as the lawyer who is obstructing evidence. And the last thing is, go in with a cohesive strategy for jury selection. We had a strategy, but I was in a very rural area, and it turned out that the issues were a little bit different than they would have been with the jurors in a more urban area, which is what I live in. I live very close to the city of Pittsburgh, and so you got to tailor your strategy and be ready and know your location, because you go if you're in a very rural area, the issues with your jurors are going to be different than the ones in a city area. So I just want to come back and say hello. I'm back. I'm over my trial hangover. I will have more in the future, but thank you for tuning in. Joe Pometto, Joe the Lawyer. If you like my show, like, subscribe, comment, and share. It's a free way to support it. Peace.